Hey divas, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Before we get started, can you please put a 1 in the chat and let me know that you can hear me? I want to make sure there's no static in the mic before I go too far. Please put a 1 in the chat for me, please. Can you hear me? Okay. I see some ones in the chat. Welcome to Pink Table Topics. I am your host and your good sis, Pink Diva. Thank you so much for joining me. And as you're pulling your seat up to the table, don't forget to please hit that like button for me. Feel free to drop down and leave a comment and also engage in the topic and turn your bell notifications on so that you'll be notified each and every time I drop a new topic. And as you know, our mission is to create a safe space for women to gather as a community, engage in healthy dialogue regarding real life issues that we as women deal with on a daily basis, but most importantly, to foster the true meaning of sisterhood. And if you are here, that means you are subscribed and representing the Diva tribe. Not just any diva, we are divine, we are inspiring, we are valiant, and we are admirable. Welcome to the table, divas. Happy New Year. I missed y'all. Happy New Year. Let me go ahead and get our motivational quote of the day out of the way first. Our motivational quote for the day is stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. Let me say that again because I had to tell myself that. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you have outgrown. That's a good one. And I have to be courteous when you come to my house. Let me scroll up and do my divas roll call to speak to my divas that we have in the chat. Betty McWilliams was the first one in the chat. Hey, Diva, thank you so much for pulling up. I appreciate you. My Diva Teresa is in the house. Hey, sis, thanks for pulling up. Hey, Angela Richardson, I'm fine. How are you doing, sis? Thank you so much for pulling up to the table. My sis is in the house. Hey, sis, I feel like I just got off the phone with you. Thank you for pulling up for me, sis. Thank you. Hey, daughter of Israel. Hey, sis, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you for being here. Linda Gamble is in the house. Hey, Linda. Thank you so much for joining me, sis. I appreciate you for being here. Hey, Terry. Terry is in the house. She said, good evening, Pink Table Topics and Queens in the chat. Love y'all. Stay safe and be blessed. Thank you, sis. We love you too. And you stay safe and be blessed. Hey, Angel. Thanks for joining. How you doing? Teresa said our motivational quote is stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you have outgrown. That is so true. Look at my sis, Deborah Jackson. Hey, Deborah. Thank you for joining me, sis. I appreciate you. I missed y'all. How y'all doing? Did you have a good new year? How is everybody doing? Welcome to the first Pink Table Topics of 2025. We are in a whole new year. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like last year went by so fast. It went by so fast. We are already in 2025. Yes. Teresa said, please hit the like button, divas, and share with your friends. Absolutely, y'all. I am really focusing this year on trying to grow the channel. So please make sure that you share the video with your friends, invite your friends, your girlfriends over to subscribe to the channel. I am going to be doing some new things for 2025 over here at Pink Table Topics, but most importantly, I'm going to be a little bit more active this year than I was last year. I'm going to make sure I'm doing, more lives. I'm going to be introducing Empower Hours throughout the week. Trying to, of course, make sure that does not conflict with my sister's schedule. So I'll be just working with her to make sure we're not conflicting schedules or anything like that. But I'm definitely looking forward to doing more in the new year and kind of just gathering with each other so that we can share best practices, talk about things we're going through. I'm going to be introducing more of business segments for those of you who, for the new year, aspire to start a business. I'm going to be incorporating like business segments that we can talk about business, how to get started, how to help you identify your niche, and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be doing some of that as well. Angela says she's well. Pink Diva, glad to be in the new year. Yes, 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 yes. It is a blessing that we can gather here today and say that we made it to 2025, because unfortunately there were some people who were not able to make it to see a new year. So it is a blessing. It's a blessing for us to be here. And I am glad that I was in the number. Did anybody have any new year resolutions? Any new year resolutions that you have that you're working toward for this new year? Look at Teresa say Pink Table Topics and Chit Chat should do, the two of you should do a live together. We love you too. We love you too. Teresa, you come on up here, man. You can do a live together, sis. Stop hiding out in that chat and come on up here on this panel. It's 2025. Talking about doing a chat together, doing a live together. You come on up here, Teresa. We would love to have you up here, sis. We would love to have, me and sis cut up too much. I don't know, child. When we get together, it'd be a whole show. You know how we do. Look at her talking about whatever. But thank you for that, sis. And please, I apologize in advance. I have a cough that I just cannot seem to get rid of. So if I have to hit the mute button, it's because I'm having a cough and I don't want to be all in your ear. But definitely, I have a cough and I don't know where it came from. It just seemed to have came out of nowhere. I don't feel bad. It's just that I have this cough that just came out of nowhere. Sis says, right, would love to have her on the panel. Absolutely. Hey, my sis, Miss Sugar Sweet is in the house. She said, good evening, Pink Table Topics mods and chat. Thank you so much for pulling up. Please hit the like button for me. Did anybody have any New Year resolutions for this year? Did you do any vision boards? Did you have a vision board party? Anything new and exciting that you're working on, that you have going on for the new year? I don't typically do New Year resolutions, but what I normally do is I always have a word that I take within the new year. And I actually use that word and apply it to how I want to move in my new year. I've done the vision boards in the past. My daughters and I would typically do a vision board party, and some of my girlfriends would usually do a vision board party. But this year I am the word that I chose this year is the word that I had last year, which is intentional. And I'm being more intentional about my purpose, more intentional about who I allow in my circle, just more intentional about my purpose work, more intentional about setting boundaries and sticking to those boundaries. Like I say, intentional was my word last year, and it felt really good because I was really intentional about everything that I did, everything that I said, and I'm really sticking to that because I'm really all about purpose work this year. I'm really about purpose work, and I'm being more intentional about, my community service, just being more intentional about giving back and being more intentional about, my prayer life, my relationship with God, my relationship with, the people in my life, making sure that I am loving on the people who love on me, and just being intentional. So that's my word for this year. It is intentional. Linda Gamble says she's working on her daughter's wedding coming up in June. Congratulations, sis. I know you're going to be busy. I had to go through that last year in August for my daughter and her wedding. It is a busy, busy, busy time for moms, especially when I had to actually decorate and design for her wedding festivities, and she had a whole weekend. So, congratulations to you, your baby. It's going to be amazing. I love love. So, congratulations. Angela said, I would love to see you on the panel because I know you have a really sweet spirit. That's right. That's right, Angela. Boost her up. Get on this panel, Teresa. Teresa said, everyone, please start wearing your mask. We just got messages from our military hospitals that there is an outbreak of the flu going on. Yes, it's something going on because I've just been reading. I was scrolling on my timeline on Facebook a little bit earlier and just seeing a lot of people saying they were sick and whatever it was they had just had them down for at least 3 days, and it's been horrible. So yes, please wear your mask. Teresa said, oh, you're so sweet, I'm going to do it just for you soon. Okay, Teresa. We're gonna hold you to that, sis. Today is January 7th. We're gonna hold you to that. Miss Sugar Sweet said, I'm doing my vision board this weekend. I'm trying to get my daughter to do one too. That's a great activity for you and your daughter to do. It's really, really fun. It's really good to have dreams and visions, but to see it on paper, it kind of helps hold yourself accountable. I have one right now that from last year that I'm looking at, that I created, and I also have one at my business office for the goals and the visions that we have for our business. And I can honestly say some of those things have already manifested. So is really, really good at helping you hold yourself accountable when you actually write it down and, put it on paper. So it really is. So definitely sound check. Annette is in the house. Hey, Diva. Thanks for pulling up. How you doing? Look at Cece. Hey, Diva. Thank you so much for pulling up to the table. I appreciate you. Daughter of Israel said, yes, it's bad in China now. Boost your immune system with vitamin D and C. What is that? Mullein, moringa, and etc. So is everybody still taking the what is the name of the it was like a jelly type texture that a lot of people was taking when um these viruses started coming out. What's the name of that? Does everybody still take that? Hey, Bad Apple. How are you, sis? Thanks for pulling up. Cece said, I started a digital vision board on Canva. I need to finish it. Yes, yes, finish it. Yes, that's it. Thank you so much, Daughter of Israel. Sea moss. Do people still take the sea moss? Is that still really good and really helpful? Teresa said, are you talking about sea moss? Yes, yes, sis. I was talking about the sea moss. I know a lot of people had started taking the sea moss, and they said that it really, really helped. Linda Gamble said that she's been down with walking PNE and RSV. Ah, sis, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. Sorry to hear that. It has really been a bug going around, and a lot of people has really, really been sick. So especially those of you who already have existing conditions, make sure you double take care of yourself. Wear your mask, take your medication. Betty said sea moss and elderberry syrup for her. Is that working for you really good, Betty? Teresa said walking pneumonia is bad. It is. It really is. Daughter of Israel said, yes, she takes it when it comes from the right source. Okay, so there's specific places you should get it. Sis says she ordered sea moss last year and got sick. No more for me. Also, you took some and got sick. Aw. See, you be hearing conflicting stories. Some people say you take it. I guess it depends on who you get it from and where it came from, I guess. Cece said, my niece was hospitalized with pneumonia and the flu. I never knew you could have both at the same time. Oh my goodness, I never knew that either. praying for your niece. Is she still in the hospital, CC? Sis said, yes, she ordered it and took it. Oh my goodness. Cece said Michael B. Jordan has a sea moss drink to make it more palatable to people. Okay, where is his sea moss drink, sis? I haven't heard of a sea moss drink. I probably could stomach that more than actually take it. Okay, so your niece is out recovering. Good, good, good. Oh my goodness. Yes, take care of yourself, ladies. Make sure you are taking whatever supplements that you have to take to keep yourself healthy. I know it's bad, cold weather going on in unusual places right now. So stay warm, stay safe. Teresa said the pneumonia is in your lungs and the flu is different. Okay. Daughter of Israel said everybody don't clean their sea moss because it's full of sand. Oh, okay. See, you can't buy everything from everybody. You have to be careful. Betty McWilliams said, yes, I took the elderberry syrup to the Bahamas in November. I took it before and after my trip, but that's a good idea because you just never know when you're going into these different countries, and you tend to most of the times come back sick with some sort of bug when you travel. So, and being in such close proximity to a lot of people who are also sick. So take care of yourselves, ladies. Okay, we are going to get started. I am going to stop looking at the chat for a minute. We are going to get started. As you can see, our topic of the day is mothers of motherless daughters and getting to the root cause in the breakdown of the relationship. Let's say that again. Mothers of motherless daughters and getting to the root cause in the breakdown of the relationship. What we're going to do, and I know y'all saw y'all best friend on the thumbnail. You saw your best friend on the thumbnail. Bad Apple said, I make my own sea moss gel with elderberry and I put it in smoothies. Oh, okay. So that's a good way of masking the taste. So that's good to know. Thank you for that, Bad Apple. As you can see, you have your best friend Wanda on the thumbnail today. So we are talking about the mothers of motherless daughters, and we're going to have a candid conversation about the mothers of motherless daughters. Tongue twister. See, I said Wanda, and now Tisha is all on my tongue. The mothers of motherless daughters. We've heard a lot of discussions surrounding motherless daughters, but I wanted to take a look into the mothers, the actual mothers of the motherless daughters. Um, we know that Wanda has been very vocal about how she feels about her daughter, to say the least. And in the beginning of first being introduced to Wanda on the show, she was a bit humorous and very opinionated, especially when it concerned her daughter. But if we fast forward to what I've witnessed over time, to me, she has become a bit obsessive with her daughter's life. Now, don't get me wrong. I have two daughters of my own, and I'll definitely rock and roll for mine if I have to. But I have never inserted myself into their personal lives unless they voluntarily share. I have never been the mom that will approach their significant other about rumors or even get in the middle of disagreements between them and their girlfriends. Yes, they have come to me and asked how they should approach situations with some of their girlfriends, but I've just never been that mother to take matters into my own hands and, call myself checking their friends, because that's not my business. These are grown folks. I actually walk them through the situation and tell them how I would handle it. But for me, the goal is always conflict resolution. It's never about sitting there discrediting the friend, telling my daughters that the friend is jealous of her life and her accomplishments. That should never be the role that we as mothers play. we should be positive role models, teaching our daughters the importance of resolving conflict instead of the constant back and forth. And yes, I have shared my insight when I feel that a friend may not have their best interest at heart, but ultimately, it's up to them how they choose to move forward. I would never, at my big age, be out here on social media doing all of that carrying on that Wanda does in the name of her daughter. And we dare not say that it's for the show because Wanda is far removed from that show. How do we expect our girls to know how to handle themselves when they go out into society if we, as the mothers, don't teach them at home? So, speaking of that, when we look at Wanda and mothers like her, because we're not just talking about Wanda, we're just talking about her because this is one that's been very vocal. This is one that's been very in your face. So when we're looking at mothers like her, I feel that's where the disconnect comes from in the mother daughter dynamic. She didn't raise her to know her self worth. She didn't speak life into her as a young girl, telling her she was beautiful, she was loved, she could do and be anything that she worked hard for. And it's so important for mothers to speak life into their daughters. I cannot say that enough. It is so important for mothers to speak life into their daughters because a mother's words carry power in shaping the daughter's self-esteem, their identity, their confidence, and essentially laying the foundation for how she view herself, right? And her capabilities throughout her lifespan. If you as the mother actively affirm her worth and potential, it helps to instill a strong sense of self-belief in herself and helping her to kind of assist in navigating her challenges when she run into challenges. And look at some of the mothers that we've seen on our TV screens and even some that we've seen in our own families and our close circles, because this goes far beyond what we see on TV. This is like real life stuff. What we see Wanda doing is not new to a lot of us because it's something that we've seen quite often. So it's not just for the TV mothers that we have seen, but it's actually for women that's been in our lives, in our circles. And I say all the time, I thank God for having a praying mother. I thank God for having a mother that spoke life into me. I thank God every day that I had a mom that told me that I was beautiful, that would affirm me and tell me that, I could do whatever I wanted to do. I could have whatever I wanted to have. The sky was the limit for me. And she never talk nasty or ugly to me. She never belittled me. And we can take this back to look at the relationship that Mel has with her mother, Miss Van. To me, she is one of the most inspirational TV moms that I've seen in a very long time. Like, there's not one that I can even think of on reality TV that exceeds what we see in Mel and her mom's relationship. Like, Miss Van has really set the bar high. So she's remained poised, she's remained professional. She prays for her daughter, she supports her daughter. You see her all the time jumping in Mel's lives or showing up at her events. She's a very supportive mother. And out of all of the negative publicity that has come about her daughter and all of the negative things that people have said and done to her daughter, we have not one time, I know I haven't, we have not one time seen her come out and act like a Wanda. We have never seen that. So it matters when you have a mother that can speak life into you versus the one that we see like the Wandas of the world, right? So let's take a point at these, take a look at these key points in what I'm saying. And this is why what I'm saying is important. Early influence. A mother is often the primary role model in a daughter's life, meaning her words and actions are deeply impactful from a young age. Positive self image. By speaking positively about their daughters, mothers can help them develop a healthy self image and believe in their abilities. Building confidence. Affirmations and encouragement from a mother can significantly boost a daughter's confidence to pursue her dreams and overcome obstacles. Internal voice. The words a mother speaks often becomes the internal voice a daughter carries with her throughout life, helping to shape her thoughts and her actions. Emotional well-being. Feeling loved and supported by a mother through positive affirmations can contribute to a daughter's overall well-being. That's why what I'm saying is important. Now, when you see mothers that do the opposite of that, when their daughter is younger, they tend to jump in trying to make up for lost time, trying to overpower the daughter's life despite not being actively involved or present when she was being raised. Most of the times, this stems from guilt, a need of control, unresolved emotional issues from their own childhood, or a desire to feel relevant. Sometimes it can be a form of manipulation and narcissism. So there are some narcissistic mothers out there. Let's not be fooled. So when I look at the likes of a Wanda and the drama and chaos that she constantly wreaks, you have to wonder, where is the disconnect? Where is the disconnect? What happened in the breakdown of the relationship? Now, don't get me wrong. I know sometimes we as women deal with issues such as postpartum depression and mental struggles that may be out of our control, right? I get that. But I have seen on many occasions where the mom is actually jealous of her own daughter's achievements, jealous of the way she looks or the attention she gets from others because she herself wasn't able to achieve those milestones in her own life. I have seen some mothers lack building relationships with their daughters because of who the father is, especially when the child was conceived for the wrong reasons. Look at Ariane. How can you properly love and pour into your child when you have all this chaos going on in your own life? How much time do you really dedicate to the kids? This has a lot to do with the resentment that your daughter could have when she grows up. Sometimes it's generational curses, past experiences in their own mother daughter relationship. Sometimes it can be that the mom has a controlling personality or a lack of emotional availability or even unresolved trauma. We know trauma is a big thing, but until you can get to the root cause of the breakdown, you can't really move forward. You'll continue putting a band-aid on things and continue trying to supplement that lack with overcompensating in other areas. But keep in mind, this also could contribute to the daughter having low self-esteem, challenges forming healthy relationships, anxiety, depression. I mean, if we want to take a look and deep dive into the whole Wanda Tisha relationship, we can see that Tisha has low self-esteem. We can see that Tisha has challenges forming healthy relationships. We can see that. This is something that we can visibly see just based off what we've seen on the show, because that's not acting. We can see that. Some mothers feel like they have to make up for what they missed out on if they weren't a part of raising you when you were younger. And I believe this is what we see when we look at mothers like Wanda. Mothers that won't allow their daughters to grow up and fight their own battles. Mothers that feel like they have to be the constant mouthpiece and all up and through their business. Mothers that like to plant seeds of discord, constantly spewing hate and making you feel like everybody is jealous of you, your life, your looks, the length of your hair. Mothers that sit up and feel a way about your girlfriends, but groom you into thinking that you are better than them. Mothers that always pop out arguing with people that don't agree with everything you do. Where were you when she was younger? Because if you poured all of that into her when you were raising her, you wouldn't have to do it now. It's toxic and it's controlling, because you want to dictate what she wear, you want to dictate where she goes, you want to dictate who she hangs out with, who she dates or marry. You want to dictate their path, the career path they choose. A toxic mother can deeply affect the child's their sense of self, leaving emotional scars long into their adulthood. Instead of providing love and support, they create an environment where their needs are ignored, they are manipulated for their own benefit, right? I know Tisha's stance on this show has always been, I can't control what my mom do or say. So she just let her run rampant and do whatever she want to do. But then she's the one that's left trying to clean it up. When it's all said and done, she got to go back and try to fix it. And let's not forget about Betty. Let's not forget about Betty, because she and Wanda are the same to me. She portrays some of those same traits. And it's way bigger than you just being a mom and stepping up for your daughter. These are grown women we're talking about, married grown women with children of their own. So they don't need you to fight their battles. So we can't use that as an excuse, right? Let me see if I can share my screen really quick so we can look at some signs of a toxic mother. When I was reading this, I was like, oh my goodness. One second. Okay, can y'all see the screen? Let me know if you can see the screen for me. So, these are signs of a toxic mother. And when I was reading these signs, so many people that I know personally came into mind. So, one of the signs of a toxic mother is she fails to respect your boundaries. Toxic mothers often disregard personal boundaries. You might have asked her to respect your privacy, yet she may still pry into your life, asking invasive questions, dropping by unannounced, or going through your things without permission. Such constant invasions of your personal space can leave you feeling violated and powerless, leading you to believe that your boundaries don't matter. Have you known anyone that fails to respect your boundaries? Do you think we've seen that in some of the mothers that we've seen? She refuses to take accountability or apologize. So a toxic mother rarely takes, tongue-tied Tisha. A toxic mother rarely takes responsibility for her actions or apologizes. Instead, she expects you to just move on and sweep it under the rug. Do we know anybody that have experienced that? She lacks empathy. A toxic mother often lacks empathy and is inconsistent in expressing love or understanding. She seems incapable of truly understanding your feelings or needs. She makes excessive demands. A toxic mother often places unreasonable demands on you, expecting you to drop everything for her at any moment. And when you try to set boundaries, listen at this. When you try to set boundaries or say no, she may respond with anger or criticism. She overreacts to your differences of opinion. The conflict is inevitable. Some mothers can't control their own anger or handle disagreements constructively. She uses manipulation to get what she wants. I know someone like that. A toxic mother often resorts to manipulation to maintain control or achieve her own desires. This manipulation might look like emotional blackmail, where she uses guilt or shame to pressure you into doing what she wants you to do. For example, she may say things like, if you loved me, you would do this for me, or I sacrificed so much for you. And this creates a sense of obligation and can keep you stuck in the cycle of pleasing. How many of you have ran into situations where you have either experienced or know someone that experienced manipulation when it comes to the mom, and they're saying, I sacrificed this for you, and I'm going to say this. The kid didn't ask to be here. Our children did not ask to be here. And the things that we had to sacrifice and go through to raise our children had nothing to do with our children. So I do not like hearing parents tell their children that, oh, I did this, that, and that for you, but the kid didn't ask to be here, right? So we have to be careful when we're doing that. We really have to be careful to not make the kid feel guilty that, they're here. Bad Apple said, my mother was badly burned after falling into a fireplace when she was just 1 year old. She grew up scarred and bruised. She was bullied a lot and developed low self-esteem. I'm sorry to hear that about your mother, sis. And you know what? And the thing is, a lot of times that those things that we went through when we were growing up has a lot to do with how we parent, because a lot of us don't know how to get past our own trauma and hurt to be able to properly, raise our children or properly create those relationships with our daughters. And I know we have sons and daughters, but I'm really trying to talk about the mother-daughter relationship and the breakdown of it. Teresa said, "I can't stand hearing parents say that, so say those things to their kids as if the kids owe them." I agree. It's almost like, we have to repay you for coming into the world when we didn't ask to be here. We weren't even a part of that conversation, right? She's jealous of your other relationships. A toxic mother may feel threatened by your other relationships and attempt to undermine them, seeing them as competition for your attention and your loyalty. This jealousy can lead to manipulation or efforts to sabotage those connections. How many times have we heard this or we've seen? Let's look at Betty. Let's take a look at Betty again. And I feel like what we are seeing, or what we have seen, especially on this Love and Marriage Huntsville show that we're talking about, these mothers jealous of your other relationships. They feel threatened by your relationships. So they'll do anything to sabotage the relationships with you and other women, and especially your friends. Right, sis? She said that's Wanda for sure. She wants Tisha all to herself. And you can definitely see it. And Betty, you can definitely see it. She is self-absorbed and she demands admiration. A toxic mother often sees herself as the most important person in any situation, talking endlessly about her problems and achievements while showing little genuine interest in others. She enmeshes herself with you. A toxic mother may blur the lines between her identity and yours, making it difficult for you to develop independence. She may expect you to fulfill her emotional needs, preventing you from establishing your own sense of self. Hmm. She puts down your accomplishments. A toxic mother may downplay your successes, often due to her insecurities or jealousy. This can be hurtful, especially when you crave acceptance or approval. And what daughter does not want a good relationship with their mom? What daughter does not long to have a great relationship with their mom? And you have daughters that are going to school and see other mothers come and show support to their daughters, but then uh you go home to a mother like a Wanda or a Betty, or any mother that you've seen in your life that's um not connected or not visible, not present, don't pour into you. That has to be lonely as a girl, as a daughter. And I loved the relationship that I had with my mom, and I make it my business to make sure that I have a really close relationship with my daughters. I don't push myself into their lives. I don't force what I think they should do or how I think they should do a certain thing onto them. Yes, I'll share my opinion and what I think about it, but ultimately is their decision. I don't overpower or I don't force myself onto them and saying, oh, it's because I'm the mom, or it's because I said so, or it's because, you know, I didn't get a chance to finish school because I dropped out when I had you. And, and I did this for you. It kind of guilts the kid into feeling like I made you miss out on something in your life because I was born. Sad, right? She tries to control you. A toxic mother often exerts control over her child's life in ways that goes beyond normal. It goes beyond normal. She doesn't take care of her mental health. Without addressing her own mental health, a toxic mother can project her unresolved issues, anxiety, or depression onto you, making you feel responsible for her moods or her actions. Her lack of self care not only impacts her ability to nurture and connect, but also sets a damaging example. So, a lot of times we say that, parents had emotional abuse, some physical abuse, but if you didn't go through therapy or talk about it, or you had to, whatever trauma that happened in your life, and you just had to sweep it under the rug, and then you had children, brought children into the world, that unhealedness is going to flow over into the relationships that you have with your kids, because yes, I have children. I'm trying to raise these children, but I also have trauma. And, if I'm bringing all of this baggage, not only into my life, but I'm spewing it into the kids, into the household, then it's going to get into the kids. So mental health is important. So make sure you are taking care of your mental health, regardless of what that has to be. We have to get out of the mindset of thinking that therapy is wrong. It's nothing wrong with you going to therapy. You have to get out of the mindset of thinking just because you feel like you need to go to therapy or see a therapist that you're crazy. It does not mean that you're crazy. It means that you care about yourself enough to want to get help for some of the traumas that you are dealing with, so that you can be a good citizen. And not only that, so that you can be a good parent, a good friend, a good mother, a good wife, and all of those things. So mental health is important. It is so much happening in the world today at the hands of people that did not take care of their mental health. We see it all day, every day. It is so much bad stuff happening in the world today because of mental illness. It's because of all of these issues that are undiagnosed. They haven't been cared for. They don't seek the help that they need, but yet they walk around in society like everyday normal citizens, but causing chaos in the world because they did not take care of their mental health. So make sure you're taking care of your mental health. She shares private matters inappropriately. A toxic mother may share private matters inappropriately, revealing personal details about her children to others without consent. Whether she's gossiping about family issues or disclosing sensitive information, talking about your husband cheating, talking about whatever it is that's none of her business. That's a toxic mother. She undermines your confidence and instills self-doubt. Bad Apple said, my mother had nothing to pour into me. A lot of these toxic traits apply to her. I've been in therapy for 20 years. I'm so sorry to hear that, sister. And I'm so glad to hear you say that you have been in therapy and that you are taking care of your mental health. So I am so glad to hear that you are taking care of you. And I was also glad to hear that you said this year you are going to take the steps necessary to try to build a relationship with your mom. So prayers up to you, sis, for that, and to try to mend your relationship. She undermines your confidence and instills self-doubt. Instead of offering support, a toxic mother often undermines your confidence through criticism, belittling remarks, passive aggressive comments that make you question your abilities. She may focus on your perceived shortcomings or downplay your achievements by planting seeds of doubt. Over time, this can make you feel incapable or unworthy, damaging your self esteem. That's a toxic mom. Sis said that's true in a lot of cases, Bad Apple. A lot of mothers don't have anything to pour. Absolutely. And a lot of it stems from them not having anyone to pour into them either. So the cycle continue. That is why it is so important for us to definitely make it our business to work on breaking these generational curses. She pits family members against each other. A toxic mother may use favoritism, gossip, or comparison to create tension and division within your family, pitting family members against one another. That's a toxic mother. Her love and her kindness are conditional when our love is supposed to be unconditional, right? A toxic mother, love and kindness are often offered conditionally with affection dependent upon your behavior or your achievements. You may feel like you must constantly earn love or approval or kindness by meeting your mother's expectations. That's a toxic mother. She humiliates you in public and private settings. A toxic mother may humiliate you as the way to control or undermine you, both in public or in private. This could look like her making critical comments about your appearance or your abilities in front of others, like belittling you behind closed doors, telling you, oh, your hair doesn't look right like that, or why did you wear that in a crowd of people instead of pulling you to the side, like it's public embarrassment. That's a toxic mother, because I would never do that to my kids. For one, 9 times out of 10, my kids have already sent me a picture and say, "Ma, what you think about this?" And I can say, well, don't wear this, do it this way or that way. I would never verbally, publicly embarrass my child in front of anyone. That's toxic. She is unwilling to change or compromise. A toxic mother may be unwilling to change or compromise. Instead of working together to find common ground, she may insist that things always go her way, disregarding your feelings or your needs. That's a toxic mother. She refuses to let go of past mistakes. The behavior of a toxic mother can feel like she's holding your past over your head, keeping you stuck in guilt or shame. She may constantly bring up past mistakes, refusing to let them go even long after you've made amends or grown from the experience. That's a toxic mother. She puts her own needs first. The self-centered behavior of a toxic mother consistently puts her own needs first, disregarding your emotional, mental, or physical health. A toxic mother prioritizes her own desires, comfort, or validation over your basic needs. That's a toxic mother. She uses money as a way to control or manipulate you. A toxic mother who uses money as a form of control or manipulation often ties financial support to obedience, making you feel indebted or guilty. She may offer help with strings attached, such as expecting favors or unquestioned loyalty, or even withholding financial support to punish or pressure you. That's a toxic mother. She uses harsh discipline or punishment. Excessive punishment or unreasonable rules are some of the ways a toxic mother uses harsh discipline to assert control. This includes yelling, shaming, or even physical abuse instead of teaching or guiding you. The focus is on instilling fear and compliance, going far beyond what's necessary to correct the behavior. That's a toxic mother. Now, hearing all of this, reading all of this, when you look at some of the people in your life, some of the mothers that we've seen on TV, is this not a clear example of something that we have witnessed? I mean, this has Wanda all over it. This has Betty all over it. I had a girlfriend in college, I think my sophomore year in college, and she had a mom that was like this. Everybody was jealous of her. She made her daughter think that nobody liked her because they was jealous of her. And the thing was, they loved her, they just didn't like her mama. And she lost a lot of friends because of the mother that she had. Look at Betty, look at Wanda. There's no way in the world that I could be friends with a Stormy or a Tisha because of the mothers that they have. There is no way I could be friends with them because of their mamas. They are out of control. They talk to you like you are nobody. They don't treat you like you are an adult. It's almost like they treat these girls as if they are still teenage girls in high school, when these are adults, when these are married women with children and families of their own. That's not the kind of mother-daughter relationship that I would like to have. So when we talk about um, the mothers of motherless daughters, this is where it stems from. These are the type of mothers that, we are dealing with. These are the type of mothers that we see. I'm motherless, and the thing about it is, you can be a motherless daughter and your mother is right in the house with you, because there is no emotional connection. There is no um what's the word I'm looking for? There's no maternal connection. I knew a friend that was married. They had a son. She was she was so into her professional career. She was a SVP at a major corporation. Her dreams, her goals, everything surrounding by her, what she was accomplishing at work, her career. She would go to work and work 8, 9 hours, come home, turn her laptop back on, work some more, as if she didn't even have a kid. The father was more connected to the kid than she was, because she was so hands off. She was not present. She was in the house, but she wasn't present. So you have to make sure that you understand that although you are in the same household, you still can be a motherless daughter. You can still be a motherless daughter. Let me go up and read some comments. Miss Sugar Sweet says, yep, this definitely describes Betty and Wanda. It sure does. Let me scroll up. Sis said Wanda and Marceau stunted Tisha's growth as a woman. I totally agree. To me, Tisha acts just like a little girl. She really acts like she's a little girl to me, in a grown woman's body. Everybody is sending up prayers for you, Bad Apple, praying for you, sis. Sis said, thanks for pulling up to the table. Thank you so much, sis. Please hit the like button. Angela said, my mother didn't know how to give me love when I was younger. I really thank God that I had a grandmother that gave me all the love I needed. My mom is better now. Thank you so much for sharing that, sis. And my sister and I was talking about that. You know how sometimes when you're growing up and you kind of feel like a lot of us as kids at some point um, held on to things that we felt our parents could have done better or could have done differently. Like when we grew up in a very strict household. But my dad was more so the disciplinarian, and not my mom. Hey sis, Neva P is in the house. Thanks for joining, sis. Um, we grew up in a very militant, because my family is military. Excuse me, I had to cough. And my dad was the disciplinarian. My mom wasn't. But and I remember when we was growing up, I was like, oh, when I leave, I ain't never coming back, because this household is so strict. And we always felt like our parents were more strict on us than they were with my brother, because my brother was the only boy. And we always felt that they were just stricter on us. And we had a conversation one time a couple years ago, and we say, you know what? We have learned to forgive them, because they did the best they could with what they had. And when we started to look at things from that point, and I know a lot of us have experienced maybe wishing you had more than you had when you grew up, or you didn't get to do this and your friends got to do that. But when you take a look at it and say, you know what, they did the best they could with what they had, it kind of gives you like a different outlook on the childhood, and that kind of helps you heal, because we used to be so mad because we felt like our dad would show favoritism to our brother because he was a boy, and he treated us a certain kind of way because we were girls. And we held on to that for a long time. And I've learned that in order to move past some of those traumas, or some of those things that you dealt with, like Bad Apple say she's been in therapy, definitely seek therapy, because therapy is a part of your healing process. And I know that situation is very minor compared to what Bad Apple shared and what some others have shared about their relationships with their moms. But be okay with going to therapy and taking care of your mental health. Be okay doing that. It is nothing wrong with that, because that just shows that you are taking steps necessary to make sure this cycle isn't being repeated in you. So you make sure you do what you need to do for you. Babette said, from the way Martell is, he fits that characteristic too. I totally agree. I totally agree. You can see it, it's visible. Bad Apple said therapy literally saved my life. I'm glad to hear that, sis. I'm glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that. And that's something I know I heard you say that you were thinking of starting a channel. You definitely need to do so. Start your channel, share your story, because that can help a lot of us. I dropped the link in the chat if anybody want to come up, if you have a story that you would like to share about motherless daughters or mothers of motherless daughters. If you care to share, you can. You don't have to if you don't want to. But if you would like to share, you can. I did put the link in the chat. I am not going to hold you long, but I would love to hear you share your story or what you think about it. Yes, mothers, hit the link. Hit the link. Please come and share. Share your stories about your relationship with your daughters or your relationship with your mother. Feel free to hit the link, and share your story, because keep in mind, it can help not only us, but anybody else that may come in contact with the video. And then also, a lot of times when we say it out loud and when we talk about it, I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I share things with you all and I talk about it out loud, I feel a whole lot better about it. And you would just be surprised at how many people feel the way that you feel, or have experienced some of the same things that you've experienced. And, and again, like I say, I really thank God for the relationship that I had with my mother. A I didn't have a mom that wasn't hands on. I had a very hands on mother. I had a very praying mother. I had a mother that, spoke life into me. And I pushed that into my own daughters. I made sure that I was very present, still very present. And you think just because they get older, that they won't need you no more. Child, I think them girls be need me more in their adult times as they did when they were younger. They on my phone every day, and I mean they could call me and just sit on the phone all day. I am attached to my daughters. My oldest daughter get off work at 7 a.m. She's on my phone by 8:30 every morning. She'll be on the phone a couple hours. My youngest daughter is at work. She's either messaging me, or she's going to call me on her lunch break, or she's going to call me. She's calling me when she get off work, and she'll talk to me all the way until she get home. So that lets me know that I did something right, because my girls love to be around me. And my husband actually tell me that all the time. He was like, those girls love their mama. He was like, because they would be in your skin if they could. And they really would. So I'm thankful that I had the upbringing and the relationship that I had with my mom, and I can actually push that into my own girls and make them feel comfortable enough to be able to call me, excuse me, call me and share with me, talk to me about things that are going on. And that's what we have to do as moms. We have to make sure we are making them comfortable enough to open up. Angela said that's what you call control. Daughter of Israel said my kids do the same thing. Teresa said facts. They call you for everything when they become adults. Girl, everything. And come to your house trying to shop out of your refrigerator and take your groceries home and all kind of stuff. Ma, you should give me this. You should give me that. And I'm like, well, what I'm gonna have if you take my stuff? Sis said this conversation just makes me so grateful for my mom. Yes, me too, sis. Girlfriend Chronicles is in the house. Hey, sis, thanks for pulling up to the table. I am, sis. I say that all the time. I am just so grateful of just the memories that I have with my mom and being able to look back on the time that we would spend time together. I'm saying we shopped, we did everything. We would be on the phone with each other every day. So I tried to make sure that I had that same relationship with my daughters. And and that's what makes me smile so much when I look at Mel and her relationship with Miss Van. I really, really love their relationship. I love seeing the support that she has for Mel. I love seeing the respect that Mel has for her mom. I just really, really love seeing that because their relationship really reminds me of my relationship with my mother. And that is something that we need to see more of. Unfortunately, in these reality shows, we don't see a lot of positive mother daughter relationship role models. We see a lot of mothers who are chasing fame, who wants to be seen and heard. But when you look at the children that they have raised, they're raising some very toxic children. Look at Mama D on Love and Hip Hop and look at Scrappy. Look at that relationship dynamic. I just can't do mothers who behave that way. And especially when you are a part of the show because your child is on the show, not for you to be the show. So, yeah, Teresa said, I started doing a pat down on my boys. They shop for everything, toilet paper, food, etc. They sure do. Yes, they do. Absolutely. She said, and now Mel will show the same love for her children. Yes, we've seen that. I love the relationship that she have with her children. She lets them express themselves. I've never heard her raise her voice at them. I've never seen her do anything other than be a kind and loving mom. So it's good to see when you can see that. It's good to see when you can see that. And I love that Miss Van is just humble to me. She's real humble. She seems to be really grateful. She's a very supportive grandmother. She'll come to, Huntsville and spend time with Mel. She travels with her to be with the kids. Those are the kind of relationships that I like to see. Those are the kind of relationships that I think mothers should portray. Not saying, don't have a say so in what goes on with your children, but, also just making sure you play the role. You don't always have to be in front and center when it comes to what they're going through, but just be a listening ear sometimes. A lot of times that's just all what we need. That's all we need as kids is just for you to be a listening ear. We love the fact of having mom to just, I can call you and say, hey, this is going on with me. Or, we as moms, we know our kids. We know when they're going through something and, we can hear it in their voice. Or I know when my oldest daughter, when she kind of get a little standoffish and she hasn't called when they aren't keeping up with their normal routine, I know something's wrong. So I'll call and be like, well, I haven't seen your face. I haven't heard your voice. I know you text me or message me saying that you was okay, but I need to hear your voice because as a mom, we can hear in our kids' voice if they are okay or if they're dealing with something. So I just really, really pray for relationships. I pray for mother-daughter relationships because it is so important. Not saying that mother and son relationships are not important, because they are equally as important. But I really, really pray for strong, healthy mother-daughter relationships, because it is so important in shaping the growth and the mindset of your girls, being there to teach them the do's and the don'ts of life, and being able to show them what a healthy relationship versus a non-healthy relationship looks like. And just being able to have, because a mother is your first girlfriend, your mother is your first best friend. It should, I should be able to talk to my mom about some stuff that I'm going through. And I've had to talk to both my daughters about strained relationships that they've had with, their best friends, and just walking them through it. And sometimes, friendships, they come to an end, right? Some friends can't go everywhere you go. And sometimes, some relationships you have to let go, and you have to be okay with it. But I was there to actually walk them through, the scenarios, and tell them, does the pros outweigh the cons? Does the good times outweigh the bad times? You can't just let one situation help you determine whether or not you move forward with the relationship or not. So always look for the good in the bad. And if it outweighs it, and if it's just too much and it's just too toxic, you just have to let it go. And that's even with friendships. That's even with your mother and daughter relationships. Sometimes there are times, if you are dealing with an extremely toxic mother, sometimes you have to love them from a distance. Sometimes you have to set boundaries with those mothers that are toxic, and you have to let it go. Sometimes you do. Woman of Strength, hey sis, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for joining Pink Table Topics. We appreciate you. So sometimes you have to let those relationships go. Pray about it. Pray about it and ask God to lead and direct you in the path that you should go. But if it's bothering your mental, if it's causing you stress and anxiety, sometimes you have to set those boundaries. You have to set those boundaries and just let them know that, I love you from a distance, but I just can't have you in my space. Because a lot of times, um, a lot of these mothers are unhealed. They are still dealing with demons. They are still dealing with trauma. They are still dealing with all of this baggage, but then it overflows into your relationship. And sometimes they don't purposely try to do it, but this is what happens when you have so much unhealed trauma. It flows into whatever relationship you are trying to build, and it makes it difficult, which is why mental health, mental health care is a necessity, to make sure we're talking about these things, even present, the possibility of going to therapy together, right? Woman of Strength said, "Good evening, everyone. I'm late. I'll catch the replay. Love the conversation." Thank you, sis. We appreciate you. So sometimes you just have to, look at things for what it is. And it does not matter who the trauma or where the trauma is coming from: mama, daddy, sister, brother, best friend, husband, spouse, girlfriend, whomever. You have to look at it for what it is. Some relationships are unrepairable. Some of them are. Some of them are repairable, but it takes two. You won't be able to do it yourself. You actually have to meet each other in the middle and both agree that we're going to work on this relationship and work on the bond and try to heal from some of this trauma. And I know it's hard, because I know, there are some people who have been dealt a very hard hand when it comes to mother-daughter relationships, and the connection just was not there. I believe if you both work for it and work toward it, I really, really believe if it's something that the both of you want to do, I believe the outcome will be greater. I believe that you can agree to, let's talk to somebody about it. Let's walk through this thing together. And I really, really believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But it takes two. You cannot do it by yourself. You can't do it on your own. And sometimes you just have to, chuck up the deuces, Go to therapy for yourself, heal yourself of that trauma, and you just have to throw up the hands and let it go. I love you, but I love you from a distance, because if I'm keeping you in my space, if I'm looking at the fact that you're my mom, so I'm still allowing you in my space because you are my mom. But if I walk away feeling torn and broken, feeling anxious, um, feeling like I've just been gaslit the entire time, if that's the way I'm walking away after every interaction with you, it's time for me to draw the line. It's really time for me to draw the line. Pamela said, "Hey, QT, I just walked into something I'm going through." Well, we're praying for you, sis. Whatever it is that you're going through, we are definitely praying for you. Woman of Strength said, "My mother and I was very close until she left this earth when I was 15. But I'm thankful the short time I had with her taught me to have a great relationship with my daughter, who is now 38. That's a blessing. And that's what I'm talking about. That is such a blessing. Relationships are important. Mother and daughter relationships are so important. You remember the saying, when we have daughters when they are little, and we make the comment that this is my little broke best friend. I used to tell my daughters that all the time, because we would get cute and go shopping. They spend up all of my money and they ain't got a dime. But your daughters are your first best friend. You are your daughter's first little best friend. And you teach them how to be good friends. You teach them how to be good people. You pour into them. You speak life into them. You affirm them. You tell them that they can do whatever they want to do. You tell them that they can be anything that they want to be if they put their mind to it. And that's what great relationships are all about. And it's not just in mother daughter relationships, but just any relationship in your life. You have to first hold yourself accountable. Am I being a good person? Am I being a good friend? Am I being a good daughter or whatever? Am I being a good mom? We have to look at the man in the mirror to make sure we ourselves are applying these same expectations to ourselves that we are pushing on the children. Love on your children. Life is so short, and I make it my business to make sure I am constantly creating memories with mine and for mine, because tomorrow is not promised to us. So if there is a relationship that you feel you can work out, do that. Hey, sis. Salt and Light is in the house. Hey, sis.
Hi, how are you? How
I'm
you
well.
doing?
Thank you so much for joining. How are you
I'm
today?
I am blessed. I am extremely late, but I heard your topic and I thought that I could add something or a different perspective. My mother, I'm currently 56 years old, but when I was 15, my mother had a mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still alive and everything, but it really came at a critical time at 15 when I'm trying to learn who I am as a young girl and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was not available, but I was just blessed to have a grandmother that stepped in, and I am my mom's primary caregiver. But
Mm-hmm.
with her, she deals with mental illness, with schizophrenia, and a lot of times she's not very nice to me when I go to visit and just
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. But to have had her when she was well, she was awesome. I would come home and she'd have the house decorated. Oh, we're going to China today, and she'd fix Chinese and she'd be in the garb, or if it was African or whatever it was. She took us to museums. We experienced a lot of things that kids back in the 80s, 70s didn't experience when
Mm-hmm.
she was well. But you are correct. A lot of times when you're at that age and you don't have that mother influence, you become somewhat unsure of who you are
Mm-hmm.
and your value as a woman and things of that nature. So I do thank God for my grandmother, and also with the um, relationship that I have with the Lord, to know that that was beyond her control. What
Yeah.
happened to her, it's a long story behind that. However, that she was doing the best that she could. And even now, when I come there, she is just as cute as a button. She's now
Mhm.
76 years old.
Aw.
And when she sees me, some days it's okay, it's all good, and some days not. But I
Mhm.
understand. But what you were saying about the voids and, the things that can happen when a mother is not present. It's so true. And some things can only be restored by the good Lord. And
That's
in
right.
my case, that's what happened.
Mhm.
He allowed me to get my identity and to validate who I am, and also with my grandmother's help and stuff. But older people, sometimes their plate is so full, especially when you have a lot of grandkids and stuff. But
Mhm.
um, it does, like you said, it can be very impactful in a daughter's life. You know.
Absolutely. And thank
Hmm.
you so much for sharing that. And you
Oh,
are so
you're welcome.
beautiful, by the way. Your profile is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing that because it means a lot to hear it
Hmm.
coming from someone that have experienced it. And like you say, when they are dealing with issues of their own, it's hard for them to be available. And
Right.
when you are young, you don't understand. You don't understand. You just know that my mother is absent. She's not present, or she's not available to me or for me. But like you said, thank God for grannies, huh? Thank God
Yeah,
for
because
having some
it's
grandmothers.
something. Because before that happened, my mom was a trailblazer for her time. She worked for the government. She traveled to different countries. She had it going on. And
Mhm,
then to see her go from everybody like praising her and all her accomplishments and everything like that, to
mhm.
seeing her be laughed at, because back then people didn't really understand mental illness, and in
Absolutely.
church, and mocking and all that kind of stuff. For a young girl who mom was the apple of the eye, that can be devastating, and it can really mess with your confidence and your self-esteem.
Hmm.
But we have a God that is merciful and kind and loving. And I was able to recover and to be a decent person.
Hmm.
And not hold some of the past abuses and things like that occurred because of her illness, and to love her unconditionally with the love of the Lord, because I know that before all of this happened, she was one person, and then she, because of that, it caused other issues, but it did not stop my love for her. I don't care. Most people with a mother, she could be the worst mother in the world. Not to say my mother was, she wasn't, but most kids still have that desire, and they still will love their mother. I don't care what she does. But it can damage, though. I mean, if
Absolutely.
we're being real. So,
Mhm. And
mhm.
thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing it
you're
because
welcome.
we know that all things are possible with God. We
Oh,
know that if
yes.
we put it in His hand, we know that He has control, and we know that if He can do anything, He can do everything. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that because
Oh,
it's
you're
so
welcome.
important. Mental health is real,
It is.
and it's not something that um can go away in just one day. You actually have to, seek help for it. And some people have to take medication, but as a kid, like you say, it's hard because you don't really understand it. But it also is important that you had a village in your grandmother that was able to step in and pour into you to where you were able to grow into an adult that was able to understand what was going on a little bit more with your mom because like you say, when you are a kid and you're in school, you don't understand what's going on. But the more you grow and the more you understand and the more you pray about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing your story. We are
Well,
praying
you're
for
welcome.
your mom, and
Yes.
we appreciate you for coming up and sharing your story. Now, did you say you had children as well?
I have an adopted daughter that I raised.
Okay.
With my brother's child. My husband and we never were able to have biological children, but I
Okay.
have godchildren, and I've been able to pour into other young people.
Well, that's good.
So
That's a blessing.
yeah, because one thing I just wanted to say, and I know I'm talking a lot, but
That's okay.
love can overcome a multitude of sin. I'll just say
Yes.
that, and especially the love of Christ that He puts in our heart for one another. And there's nothing in the world I wouldn't do for my mother, even though, like I said, some days feeling me, and some days not as much. But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm a couple days getting over there, she gives me the biggest smile and say, "Give me a kiss," instead of
Mm-hmm.
saying, "I'm gonna call the police on you," you know.
Right.
So God is so good. He's awesome, and thank you for your platform. I've listened to you a few times. I've heard of you through Chit Chat with QT,
Thank
um,
you.
and you do a beautiful job. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And thank you for joining and thank you for coming over and sharing your story. We really do appreciate it. Because it's needed, and that's what this platform is about, for us to be able to share, because we go through things and sometimes we don't always have an outlet to be able to share some of the things that we go through. But I applaud you for standing by your mom and still loving on your mom, because we only get one.
That's
We only
right.
get my mom, and once she's gone, she's gone. I don't have mine. I lost my mom in '05. So anytime I hear people talking about how they love on their mothers, it makes my heart smile and it makes my heart happy, because we only get one, regardless of their differences. We only get one, and and when they're gone, it's too late for the shoulda, coulda, woulda. So
That's right.
uh, we
Hmm.
appreciate and applaud you for stepping up to the plate. I still have my dad, so my dad is basically, he acts like he's my child. The roles really have reversed, and so it's funny that like you say, sometimes he don't want to talk to me when he can't have his way, or he want me to do something that I didn't do on his time. But I thank God for him and still being able to have him in my life. And like you say, I wouldn't have it any other way. He
Hmm.
can give me that headache any day, but I still have him. So I appreciate you for sharing that and sharing your story.
Well, you have a blessed evening, everybody on that's listening. Also, have a blessed evening.
Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
you too, dear. Thank you so much, and don't forget to come back.
I will.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. I got to cut on my notifications. All right.
Thank you. Please do.
Bye bye.
Beautiful, beautiful story. Beautiful story. Woman of Strength said, thinking back when I was 15, sad to say, I did not have my grandmother. My grandmother was dealing with the passing of her 38-year-old daughter, which was her mother, her only daughter. So I was blessed too. Yes, 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 yes. Let me tell you, it is something about the strength of a grandmama. Our grandmothers, I tell you, they were the pillars of the family. And it is so sad how, some of the family dynamics have changed so much since we no longer have the grandmother in the family. And my sister and I was talking about that last week. We were just talking about how things just changed when the grandmothers are no longer in the picture. I remember we used to have family reunions all the time. Every other year we would have a family reunion, and we was talking like these days we have cousins that we've never met, and cousins that we've never seen. We just may see them pop under a status on social media. And, it's just really sad that the family dynamic is so broken these days, to where families just don't come together unless it's a funeral. So I just pray for, the strength in the family to just kind of get back a little bit to how it used to be when the grandmothers were still here, and being the rock of the family and making sure they pull everybody together. So God is able. Teresa said, I would give anything to have my mom back. I miss her so much. Yes, yes, yes. Sis said, yes, God is good. Yes, He is. A woman of strength said, learn to be intentional about being a great mom. Yes, it is so important to be intentional about being a great mom. Sis said, it's the most important job ever. Yes, 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 it is. Cece said, one of my cousins just lost her mom on January the 1st. We're so sorry to hear that. Prayers up to your cousin, sis. She's an only child. She has a husband and a daughter for support, but we've really rallied around them. My aunt was a Girl Scout troop leader. Aw, praying for your family, praying for your family, and especially your cousin, because it's just something about the void of a mom. It really is. It's hard to maneuver through life without your mom. And I'm speaking from experience, because there are times to where I just want to pick up the phone. I want to call her. The holidays come and you miss them, and uh, a mother's love and a mother's relationship is so important. Woman of Strength said, same here. Mother's Day and Christmas is still tough for me. Her favorite holidays, even after over 40 years. Absolutely. I am blessed because Pam says, yes, great topic, sis. I am blessed. My mom is still here. That's a blessing. Love on her, hug on her, stay around her as much as you possibly can. Stay in contact with her. You only get one. You only get one. Teresa say, yes, I miss both my grandmothers so much. I am now the same grandmother to my grandchildren. Aw, yes, keep being that, sis. Sis said, my mom, Cece said, my mom and her siblings have turned over family reunions and events to my generation. Our grandparents worked hard to make things happen. I totally agree. And my sister and I talked about that a couple of years ago. We tried to do a cousins reunion because my mom's siblings, I think my mom has four living siblings, sisters, but they're all older. So we were just saying now it's time for us to try to get the reunions back going, because they're not going to leave their comfort zones. They all live in Mississippi, except one of them live in New York, but they're not going to leave, their comfort zones and, want to travel to come to family reunions or what have you. And, we tried to put it together and tried to, which she and I would have to come the furthest. We even made it to where it would be, right in Jackson, but we had a aunt that lived in another part of Mississippi. She didn't want to travel to Jackson, Mississippi. So it still just never happened. And so we said, you know what, we'll just work on doing a cousins reunion so that the cousins and our kids can come and participate and actually get to know each other. Because my daughters was telling me, they was like, Mom, we have cousins that we don't even know. And it's so sad. It's so sad that we have cousins that we don't even know, and you don't even see them until it's a funeral. And then while you're at the funeral, now everybody want to say, well, we need to make it our business to make sure we get together and outside of funerals. But then when you leave, it's still ghost again. Nobody wants to, push forward and make it happen. So it's unfortunate. We tried, we really tried. And, as always, when it comes to the money and at the last minute, everybody is pulling out and it falls through. But this year we said we're going to vow to just push through and move forward with whoever attends, because you can't just wait on everybody. And sometimes some of them just want to sit back and wait to see who else moves, and then they'll say, well, I'm coming next year, or whatever the case. So we're just going to move forward with whoever wants to move forward. So um sis said, yes, that's so true, sis. So we're just trying to work on, the health and well-being of the family dynamic. Most importantly, the mother-daughter relationships, making sure we are creating safe spaces for our daughters to be able to open up to us. I always made it my business to make sure that I created a safe space for my daughters, because I never wanted my girls to have to walk around being scared to share something with me, or having something, having being violated and not having a relationship with their mom that was made them feel safe to come and share that somebody touched them inappropriately or said something inappropriate to them. So I wanted to always make sure that I created that space for them, and to be able to talk about, what it looks like for someone to violate you, regardless of who it was, regardless of if it was anyone in the family, or just teaching them just how to be girls, teaching them how to be girls, and all of that. So Um, Mother-daughter relationships are very important. I can't stress that enough. Cece says we have a cousin's Christmas party every year. It's so much fun. We started inviting our parents the last few years, but it's about us forming stronger bonds. Yes, that is so important. Sis said, great topic. Thank you, sis. Girlfriend Chronicle said, gone are the days of Big Mama or true matriarchs. It is. It really, really is. Woman of Strength said she agreed, chit chat. We need more of these types of conversations. Yes, we really, really do. We need more of these conversations and more of you all to grace the panel and share some of your experiences. We love to hear it. None of us really know each other, so you don't have to be afraid of clicking the link and coming up on the panel. We would love to hear you. It's nothing to be nervous about. There is no judgment over here. We are all sisters. We all love on each other. We support each other. We uplift each other over here. That's what this is all about. I appreciate you all for engaging in the chat. We love that as well. But please don't be afraid to hit the link when we drop the link. Come up and share your story. You will be surprised at how much we actually have in common. So don't feel like only certain people can click the link and come on the panel, because that's not how it is. If the link is dropped in the chat, anybody can click the link and come up and share your story. We would love to hear it. We can't see you. You have your camera off, so we can't see you, so you don't have to be afraid. You can't see us when you come on the panel, so you definitely don't have to be afraid. So I encourage you all, especially going into this new year, those of you that frequent the chats, feel free to come up on the panel. Feel free to come up and share, come up and co-host with me. I would love to have you. We're all sisters over here. Girlfriend Chronicle says, yes, great topic. Missing my mother. Her birthday is coming up. I miss those conversations. Hugs and love. Prayers for you, sis. We'll be praying for you. We will definitely be praying for you. I know how hard it is for um, birthdays. January and February are those months for me. I lost my mom this month. January 26th is the month that I lost my mom. And my mom's birthday is February the 20th. So January and February are very hard months for me. And it feels like double whammies when it's coming right off of the holidays. And then here we are in January. So pray for your girl, because January be really rough for me. So definitely keep me in your prayers as I keep you in my prayers. Sis said, same girlfriend chronicles. My mom's birthday is January the 21st. Oh, sis, I didn't know your mom's birthday was on the 21st. Oh, and the anniversary of my mom passing is January the 26th. January the 26th, and her birthday is February the 11th. So we would definitely need to be pulling strength from each other. Definitely. Yes, Teresa. Anybody can click the link, sis. Even you. Anybody, sis. So yes, yes, yes. We would definitely need to be pulling strength from each other. A woman of strength said, I just celebrated my birthday, January the 3rd. Happy, happy birthday to you, sis. Did you do anything fun and exciting? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Girlfriend Chronicle said, definitely January the 10th, praying for all. Thank you. Thank you. We are definitely praying for each other and keeping each other lifted up. Think on the good times, think on the good memories that we created. Um, just think positive thoughts and um, just keep those positive memories going and create memories. And I'll tell anybody, everybody that's in the chat, make it your business to create memories with your kids or your loved ones. For those that don't have children, create memories, capture every moment. I don't care. Everybody knows that I stay with my camera in my hand because my girls are going to have memories of their mom. I am going to have memories of, my girls, my husband, my friends, my vacation. Capture your memories. And, that is something that you can always have to go back to. And you'll always be able to look at those memories, remember where you were, smile, laugh, remember the fun that you had. So definitely make sure you are making it your business in 2025 to capture your moments, create new memories, live life as if tomorrow is not promised, because it's not. We're here today, gone tomorrow. So make sure you are living, live life. Let's not stay stuck in whatever rut it is. It's a new year. I know a lot of people say new year, new me, whatever that means to you, but just capture your memories. Capture your memories, live life. Yes, we get up and go to work every day and we pay bills, but don't let that be the only thing that you do. Find some time to carve out for you to do some things that you desire to do. Have fun, because this money is going to be here when we're no longer here. So use that PTO time, take your vacations. I don't care if it's a staycation, do something that you enjoy doing for yourself and live in the moment. Live. Teresa said, please capture memories. That's the only way I can survive the passing of my son. We watch his basketball videos all the time. Yes, sis. Yes, yes, yes. And I am so glad that you have those memories. Memories are important. Memories are important. Sis said self love. Yes, self love. Cece said, prayers to you and any other ladies dealing with the loss of your mom. Thank you, sis. We really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate it because we need it. We need it. We need it. We need it. Did you all enjoy the topic? This was a great conversation talking about mothers of motherless daughters. We are 1 hour and 36 minutes into the live. Cece said, happy belated birthday, woman of strength. Anybody else have any birthdays coming up this month? Any other January birthdays in the house? Capricorn season, right? Teresa said, yes, ma'am. Great topic. I missed y'all. It feel like I haven't been on live in forever. The holidays whooped me. You hear me? And the month of January starting actually this Friday is getting ready to be super super busy for me because it's year end close at my 9 to 5 and your girl be humping. You hear me? I be humping for the month of January with year end close, and it is a headache. So it will be long days and long nights, but I am going to make it my business to make sure we're here next week Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Um, and I have a great topic. Oh my goodness, I have a great topic that we're going to be talking about. Next week, we're going to be talking about step parenting. Step parenting is next week's topic. And I'm talking about and I know a lot of you seen the debacle that went on with um the Christmas picture where the dad had his oldest son didn't have the matching pajamas that he and his current girlfriend and their kids had, and the mother um made a big issue out of that on social media. I know a lot of you probably seen that going on, the picture with the family in the green pajamas. We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about step parenting. Teresa said yes, hot mess. Yes, yes, yes. Cece said, this is a great topic. My mom ended up apologizing to me in my early 20s for pushing us away for church. She was so engrossed in church, she didn't nourish our relationship. We've gotten closer. That's a blessing, Cece. That's a blessing. She did one thing you said that she did important. She said she apologized. If we could just get to the point of putting our differences aside and just apologizing. It'll be easier for us to move forward. So, kudos to you and your mom. I pray that your relationship continue to flourish. You continue to get closer, continue to enjoy and love on each other. It is so important. So, next Tuesday, same time, same place, 6:30 Central, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to be talking about step parenting. So, those of you who may be step parents, bonus parents, whatever you want to call it, please make sure you tune in. Bring your girlfriends along with you. But feel free to come over, share your story. Yes, Teresa say invite your friends, divas. Yes, invite your friends. Woman of Strength said, I am happy that your mom apologized, CC. Sometimes that is very hard for a mother to do. You are blessed. It really is. Sometimes apologies, and not only just for a mother, just in everyday life. Sometimes it's hard for, us to apologize for certain things, especially when you feel like you're right. So it's hard to apologize. So definitely, definitely. So that was a big step actually getting to um the part of being able to apologize in order to grow and move on. Yes, sis said apologizing heals. It actually does. Yes, the genuine apologies heal. Not just you apologizing to tell me what I want to hear, but genuinely apologizing. I totally agree, sis. But thank you, ladies. We are going to end tonight's Pink Table Topics. I really appreciate you all for rocking out with me on the first Pink Table Topics of 2025. I am looking forward to hopping on, doing some Empower Hours through the week. I'm trying to keep the page active so that people can identify the platform and keep the platform in the algorithm. And I know in order to do that, I have to make sure I'm going live a little bit more instead of the one time per week. So I am going to be um, doing some midweek pop-ins for an Empower Hour to come on for an hour. It may even just be in the form of just a video and not an actual live. Either way, I want to make sure that I'm being a little bit more visible and spending a little bit more time over at Pink Table Topics so that we can grow the subscribers. And my goal is to get the channel monetized, but I know I have to put in the work and make sure I'm being visible and out here actually doing the darn thing. So that's definitely my goal for sure. But I appreciate each and every one of you for pulling up to the table tonight. I enjoyed our conversation. I enjoyed you all for sharing. I enjoyed just having you all in the chat, in the one that came on the panel. I'm trying to find her name because I do not want to call her the wrong name. Trying to see her comment, but I really appreciate her coming up and sharing her story. It was a beautiful story of sharing with her mom. To all of the new faces that we saw, I appreciate you for coming up. Y'all stay warm. I know in some places snowstorms are going on, so make sure you stay warm. Make sure you pray for me as I pray for you. And we pray for our sisterhood that we continue to grow, continue to reach others, continue to draw people to the platform. That's the goal. So thank you. Thank you. Yes, salt and light. Thank you so much, beautiful. We appreciate you for joining us on the panel. Thank you for coming up and sharing your story. We really, really, really do appreciate you. We appreciate you. So thank you all to everybody that came. I'm going to go up and say my good nights to everybody. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. To the replay game that'll be pulling up to the table later, I really appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button for me on your way in. Feel free to leave a comment. Make sure you share the video. If you feel like this video can help someone that you know, share the video with them. I really, really do appreciate you. So y'all have a good night. Good night. Good night. I am going to go up and say my good nights to everybody that came and joined us. Have a good night. Share the video, and I will chat with you soon. Good night, sis. I'm sure we'll be talking. Girlfriend Chronicles, have a good night, sis. Teresa, my diva, have a good night. Thank you so much for modding for me and pulling up to the table, sis. Good night, daughter of Israel. Have a good night, woman of strength. Thank you for joining us, sis. Thank you for pulling up to the table. We appreciate you, and you have a great night. Good night, Pamela. Have a good night. My good sis Babette was here. Have a good night, sis. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, Mama V. Thanks for dropping by, sis. I am blessed pecan Pam. Have a good night, sis. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing. Good night, CC. Have a good night, sis. I appreciate you for showing up. Good night, good night. Betty was here. Have a good night, sis. Thank you so much for joining. Girlfriend Chronicles, have a good night, sis. I think I called you, but I wanted to do it again just to make sure I didn't. I don't want to miss anybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for pulling up to the table. Have a good night. Good night. I'm scrolling. Salt and light. Have a good night, sis. Thank you for joining. Have a good night, Mama V, sis. I think I got you. I think I got you. Don't want to forget anybody. Linda Gamble was here. Have a good night, Linda. Thank you so much for joining. Brittany Janae was here. SKR was here. Thank you for joining, sis. We appreciate you for pulling up. Angela Richardson was here. Have a good night, sis. Miss Sugar Sweet was here. Have a good night. We appreciate you. Daughter of Israel, I think I got you, sis. Good Bad Apple was here. Have a good night, sis. My sis, Lady Sweetness to you was here. Have a good night. Deborah Jackson was here. Have a good night, sis. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you for being here. Good night, good night, good night. I think I have everybody. If I forgot you, charge it to my head and not my heart. Good night, good night. Oh, sound check. Annette was here. Have a good night, sis. Thanks for joining. Good night, good night, good night. Making sure I didn't miss anybody. I hate to miss anybody. But I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for joining and have a good night.